Hello, we are live. Welcome to the Enlightenment Exchange. We are back. We've decided to come back. We like it. We just enjoy ourselves here.
And we missed
Anyway,
all of our
meanwhile,
thousands of fans.
yes, before we forget, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you like us, share us. Um, we're going to try to really hit some topics that might make some sense for you or help you, move further along in whatever journey that you're on. So I'm excited about this one. The idea of making peace with being alone
Yeah.
with your own company, making peace with your own company.
Yep.
And so the so again, last week I mentioned that I lost my husband. And I still remain pretty convinced that the fact that I'm okay with being by myself is making this journey of grieving or grief easier for me. But I think there are other factors that are making it easier. So I don't, and if it starts leaning that way, I don't want to make it sound like if you make peace with being alone, your whole life is going to be fine. Like, that's not it. I just think things are easier when you are more comfortable with being alone.
hmm
How do you
hmm
feel about being on your own, solitude?
I actually prefer it. So I think I think it's all things in balance, right?
Right.
Um, I do know that because I run my own business and I do all my work in my own office. I don't
Mhm.
have coworkers. I don't have staff at this point. So I focus most of my day on my own stuff. Now I do have Zoom calls, of course. And here's what I'm getting at. When I have an extended time off, like let's say it's a long weekend, by the end of that weekend, I am ready to get out of my
Right.
small family and get back to where I have some solitude. Another point on that is, everyone else goes to bed around 10-ish at my house, 9 or
Mhm.
10. And that gives me from say 10 to 11:30 of real nice solitude time, and I value that a great deal.
I remember when my husband was alive and when he was going to work, um, you know, that he left really early. He
Yep.
left like 4:30, 5 o'clock. And I
Oh,
got up with him every day when he went to work. But there was that period of time from say 5 o'clock when he left until 7 when I really needed to get ready and start my day, go to work or go to my office or whatever. That hour and a half there, 2 hours was um like a salve, right?
yeah,
Like a balm
exactly. It's
for me.
golden that time.
Yeah, just amazing. So um but now I do remember when I was a kid, couldn't handle it. Could not handle it, did not want to be stuck in the house, did not want to be by myself. Come and get me. Oh my God, my car doesn't work. Come and get me. I got to get out of here. I can't handle it. Were you always okay with being by yourself, or was there a point
Yeah, let me
in time
think.
where it shifted for you?
I think especially teens, when I was a teenager, I I wanted to be with my friends, right? I wanted to be
Mhm.
where there was action,
Yeah.
right? I don't know why, because looking back on it now, I'm like, wow, I was, um, what action was I getting?
Right?
Uh, Other than we had a group of I think 4 or 5 of us that really were tight. We hung around together all the time, and it was a group of a group of misfits. So that I mean I that just, just a real quick aside, when you have a group of misfits that all kind of support each other, that's really cool. That's
Yeah,
really
it is.
that's really
Sure
solid.
it is.
And but I also know. So here's a funny example. When I would study, I needed to be completely alone and no distractions whatsoever. And I really valued that time. I did pretty well in school. Um, I would try and sit in the normal part of the library, and everybody would be right during,
Mhm.
and it just drove me bonkers. I figured out how I could sneak into the uh, what's it called? Advanced, not advanced students, but doctorate like master's and doctorate students only. They had a special area that was just for them. And I figured out how to sneak in there and grab a cubicle, and it was like dead silent. I'm like, finally. And so I really needed that silence. And that was my way to focus.
Well, I wonder if, even then you were energy sensitive.
Yeah. Oh, ooh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Wow, I hadn't thought of
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
Yep.
that is one of the benefits to making peace with being by yourself. If you're at all energy sensitive and crowds and things like that are overwhelming,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
do remember.
sometimes
Yep.
that, and the problem is that it's your soul that needs that peace, but your ego is like, I can't, I'm afraid to be alone. I don't want to be alone. Whatever,
Right. I'm
whatever the
missing out on
issue
the
is with
action.
being alone. Yeah. At FOMO, right?
Yeah, exactly. It really was. I felt like I was missing out on whatever amazing things they were doing, which was nothing.
Nothing,
But
right? Oh my gosh, right? So for me, I it's been quite some time. My kids, after my kids got big, and they're gone, and um even my husband and I were always very much together, but we're also very much two units of the same whole.
mhm.
So I remember people when they found out. I mean, I can't tell you. There are movies we went to see together, but more often than not, and we used to go to the show at least once a week.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Um, but most of the time, I'd go to one and he'd go to another, and everybody would be like, "Oh, how can you let him go by himself?" Or "How can you stand to be by your?" Well, I don't want to watch Spider-Man, okay? You
That's
know?
awesome. That's what a cool relationship, right?
Yeah,
Like, we
it
wanna
was.
go to the movies, but I wanna see one, you see the other? Perfect. Let's talk about
Yeah,
them afterwards, over
yeah, or
coffee or
or
something.
not, or
Yeah,
not.
or
Like,
not.
I'm okay with not too. I don't really need to hear what Spider-Man was doing? I
That's
mean,
funny.
but I think, there's that, because it reminds me of that, when people say something like, "Oh, this is my husband, my boyfriend, my other, my significant other,
Mhm.
whatever. He completes me. She completes me. We complete it." I don't
Okay.
I really feel like it's necessary for people to understand how to be 2 parts of the same whole.
Yep.
I just think
Be
it's
whole
healthy.
with yourself
Mhm.
and also whole with the other.
Right, and so one of the pieces of information I got when I was doing the research was, you know, what are powerful reasons to make peace with being on your own, right? And one was to elevate all of your other relationships. It might seem counterintuitive, but the best way to improve your connections with others is not to need them for your own happiness.
Hmm.
When you are content in your own company, you approach relationships from a place of want, not need. You choose to share your already full life with someone rather than trying to get them to fill an empty space.
Yeah.
And it removes the pressure and desperation, fostering healthier, more secure, more genuine bonds. I agree with that 100%. And, um, it's like, I mean, you can see these dynamics if you watch reality shows where people feel like, I watch them mostly so I can spot the patterns, right?
Yeah, interesting.
Um, but you can see where you see these dynamics where you can just tell, even though these people are arguing like crazy, they can't stand to be one without the other, whether it's siblings or, roommates, whatever it might be. And you can watch them like so certain that everybody's going to leave them. So here I'm going to say everything I possibly can to make you so angry that you're going to leave me on my own terms, you know.
Oh, oh, wow. Yeah.
And so that it to me that is not being at peace with being alone. That is
No.
being afraid of being alone, right?
Right.
Like,
And then self-sabotage
yeah.
because you don't know how to handle being alone or being with someone in a mature way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things. because I've noticed and I've really been seeing an awful lot of this lately with all the ads I see from, sort of spiritual teachers or I see an awful lot of like Wicca or Wiccan or pagan or
Yep.
witches or whatever, all these people that create courses and they always want to say, well, do this one thing to fix yourself, or what's wrong with you, blah 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 blah, or and I'm
Yeah.
just so like, I want everybody to know that standing on your own 2 feet or taking, and I don't mean being alone forever. I mean being okay with solitude so that everything, the noise around you can quiet down and you can hear what's going on in your own head. This is not
Right.
about, becoming a hermit or a loner or
No, no, this
anything.
is
It's
being
just
having comfort with solitude when it presents itself.
right. And I think, you know, and one of the other things that one of the other reasons was to discover your authentic self. I think if you get the opportunity to go inward, inside, a lot of the things that you think are wrong with you really are strengths,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
society tells you they're wrong, or society tells you this, society tells you that. Maybe you've got a religious background and you're filled with guilt, or maybe you've got, parents who are afraid of the abilities that you have, and so they, get you to squash them, or maybe you believe something that's a little bit different than what the rest of the world believes. But that's okay. And the more you can go inward and get comfortable with what's going on in your own soul, not just in your mind, because the mind will tell you stories,
Right.
right?
Oh yeah.
Um, Start connecting to the energy of being alone. Start connecting to that sort of, I almost want to call it a hum.
Yeah.
But
The
there's a lot of words out there for these different things that you can connect to when you're sitting on your own kundalini, or your light column, the hum, the energy,
hmm.
what you feel
Yep.
going on in within your own soul, within your own domain. The more you connect with that, the more in your own power you can stand, and the better off I think that you are, no matter what comes your way.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the every every indication, every bit of advice that I've ever had about, you know, strengthening your connection, your spiritual connection, has in there somewhere an element of meditation, right?
Right?
And I mean that's without exception. And that necessarily means putting out or closing out what's happening around you. And I got to say, it's a lot easier when you're alone.
Yeah. But and it's I mean, I'm glad you brought that point up, because, I think there's a lot out there about meditation. I
Yep.
think the one thing about meditation that you hit on is it is a lot easier when you're alone. But I think there's a lot of people out there that will, that teach meditation, that talk about meditation. You have to go within. You have to quiet your mind. And I mean, if I had to quiet my mind to meditate, I would just never meditate, because there's
Right.
always something coming. There's a spark. There's some kind of creative thought happening. I'm
Yeah.
hearing from the
Yep.
guides. I'm here.
But you're
Um,
not ruminating, right? You're
right. No, no,
you're
I
picking up
don't
stuff. Yeah.
ruminate. I don't overthink. It's like, sometimes very rarely actually is it something like, "Oh gosh, I forgot to pay the electric bill." Like, usually it's, what would be cool if I tried this?" Or,
Yep.
You know how I could affect the energy if I did that?" You know what crystals like each other? These 2. It's those kind of things that I get in meditation. So, learning to meditate in a way that honors what you need in the moment, I think
Mhm.
would be uh, just a gift that anybody could give themselves.
Yeah.
But it really has to start with being able to sit for 10 minutes in a completely quiet room by yourself and not freaking out.
That's the key. Not freaking out when you're, you know, alone, and whether it's meditating or whether it's just having a quiet moment.
Right.
Um, but not freaking out when you're alone.
Yeah. And you said something, and I think it was a teacher, that you had put you on this path, but the idea like, am I okay right now?
Yes,
Am
right.
I okay right now, right in this moment, just
Yep,
this moment, that's it, because that's all you have right now. Am I okay
yep.
right now?
Yeah, let me give some context to that. So that's Jack Cornfield, and in the course that I took with him, or recorded, but he said a lot of people have great worries about the future, or regrets about the past, but some of those biggest fears that come about what's going to happen to me, if you come and you bring someone, no matter what situation they're in, how are you right now, almost without exception. If someone's injured, of course it's different, but almost
Right.
without exception, people, right now I'm fine. So put away, let go of that fear of the future. Right now you're fine. Okay, and now the next moment.
There you
Now the
go.
next moment. And then basically you've got this. You stay in the present, you've got this.
It, I guess I wonder why. I wonder if, let's say, people without siblings find it easier. Now, I did have a brother growing up, but I wonder if, um, only children have an easier time with being on their own, or maybe twins might have a more difficult time because they're accustomed to being,
Right.
two parts of the same whole.
Yeah.
I'm
My son's an
sure.
only child, so I know that he, by by necessity, has to spend some time playing alone. He likes to read, he likes to watch his video. I guess videos is a different. That's not. I don't know. Is watching videos alone? Is that really alone? But anyway,
That's a good question.
um,
Yeah.
point being that he by necessity has time alone, and I think he's just kind of that's just kind of how things are. So I think you're right about that.
It's funny though, now that you mention it. Now, I'm not going to say that I did not spend time with my friends when I was a kid, but I spent summertime with my friends, spring, fall, winter. I didn't want to be out there with all that.
Mm.
I mean, I loved being able to stay home and read a book and read a book and read, like,
Yep, yep.
I mean,
I did
because
a
back
lot of
then, of
reading
course,
too.
we're talking the early 60s. There wasn't videos. There weren't, you
Yeah,
didn't
there
have a
was
TV
less
in your room. You didn't.
distractions.
Yeah, there were a lot less distractions. So books were the. Oh, and then the AM FM radio. So which fortunately, we all had one in our rooms. So that
Yep.
was good. But I, you know, what would be one thing that you could do to get used to being by yourself? Clip this.
I think it's an element of comfort, and maybe repeating to yourself, or knowing that you don't have to fill the space with anything. We had a sign, a little poster up in my house when I was growing up, and it said, "True friendship comes when silence between two people is no longer uncomfortable."
Beautiful. That's
Yeah, yeah, and
beautiful.
obviously it made an impact on me, because that I still remember it to this day. And I think what it's saying is that if you constantly have to have the need to fill the space with something, usually it's talking. Um, the real relationship is built when you don't have to do that anymore. You're kind of comfortable with the other person, and you
Right.
don't need to fill the space.
Brilliant. I mean, that is a big part of it, I think. And so maybe that's like practicing. Maybe that's something we should be teaching our kids.
Right, right, yes.
That would be on a small scale, right? Just knowing that it's okay for you to sit in the same room as somebody and not talk for a few minutes.
Yeah, right. Don't fill
Not
the
have to
space.
fill the space with the
Yep,
with the noise.
the space is there for a reason.
Yep. Okay, so clip this. I pulled a card to see. Oh, look at this. I wanted to see what the card might say about being comfortable. You, I don't know. This crazy lighting situation. There we
Oh,
go. You, the
you the
muse.
muse? Oh, I like that.
You, the muse. Be your own muse, right? Sit by yourself and connect with that creative source. I love that.
That
You,
is
the
cool.
muse. Not someone else as a muse, but you. I mean, you really can't make this stuff up.
I know, this
This
is
is
spot
the
on.
Sacred Creators Oracle. Sacred Creators Oracle.
That's nice.
This is actually by Chris Ann, your favorite.
I thought I recognized that. I think that is her handwriting.
Yeah,
She has her handwriting on the each of the tarot cards of the Lightseers deck is her handwriting. Yeah, it is. It is. It's all of it's handwritten, so I recognized her handwriting. How
love
cool.
it. So, I mean, the idea, you, the muse, that is just saying to yourself to get to a place where you understand that you don't need anyone else's input to know what to do while you're on your own,
Right, right,
right?
right.
Listen to your
Yeah.
own internal, whether you can hear guides speak or feel them or, see signs out in the world, whatever it might be, however you communicate with them, and they do communicate with you. Now, I mean, I've known people who didn't pay attention and then they would trip them and stuff, so you just never know. But I know a couple of people that were like that, to be honest. But anyway, inward, that's what we're talking about. So
Right,
what if you
right.
clip this, spend 2 minutes a day looking inward and just looking for, what do I feel today? What does my body want today?
Hmm.
What does my soul need today, right now? 2 minutes, and just see what you hear. See what you feel. Does it feel heavy or light? Does it feel, open and expansive? Does it feel scary? And then maybe if it feels scary, you need to do it again tomorrow and the next day until you connect to that same spot over and over until it doesn't feel scary anymore.
I recall something from a mentor a long time ago that for people that are completely blocked off from their own higher guidance or higher self, the first step of that is, can you articulate your feelings? Can you articulate what your body is? I mean, what sit down and tell me everything that you are feeling right now. Let's see, I'm sitting on a chair, my feet are on the floor. I have, no tightness in my right, but being able to
Right.
articulate that, and then going into the emotions, how, in your best possible words, tell me how you are feeling emotionally right now. And that is the first step towards being comfortable with yourself, which is part of that is the being comfortable with being alone.
Right, right. And the truth of the matter is, not, and as you said it, I realized that, your guides, teachers, and angels, whatever they are to you, don't speak actual words,
Right.
right? Which is not to say that when you hear them, because I do hear them,
Yep.
but I've gotten very good at translating the energy of what it is that they're saying. Anybody that's new to it is going to feel it more than they even are going to hear it until they, you know. So, I mean, it could be as easy as saying to yourself, "My name is Angie. How does that feel in my body? Is it
Mm,
light?" You know, and then
yeah.
saying, "Oh, my name is Sophia. Oh, that feels heavy in my body." Just those kind of things. And they
Right.
can really start to give you peace with being on your own and answering your own questions, getting your own guidance. That is my ultimate goal in all the work I do with all the people I work with, is for people to understand you have a connection to every single thing you need. You could never read another book and you would still know everything you need. You have it all within you.
Yep. Yep.
Just a
Going
matter of figuring
within.
out how
Yep.
to translate it.
And listening. Yeah.
Yeah, paying attention, discerning, seeing the quarters on the floor. or, the dragonfly on the window or whatever it might be. So that's what I've got for today. Oh, I do like this. Build unshakable emotional resilience. When you learn to be comfortable with your own thoughts and feelings, you develop the ability to self soothe and self regulate. Instead of immediately reaching for a distraction or another person to fix a bad mood, you learn to sit with discomfort, process it, and move through it on your own. And I remember one of the teachers that I had back in the day saying, get comfortable with discomfort.
Yeah, that's huge. And
I
that's
took that
probably
to
one of the,
heart.
yep, that's one of the major points I think for today,
Right.
being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right. Because the truth of the matter is, and I wonder if this doesn't have, an impact on the way that you view this. I am comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like I just am. I,
Mhm. Yep.
learned it over my lifetime and for many different reasons. But I have a relationship with shadow work that is not like what other people have. I hear
Mm.
every time I turn around, a dark night of the soul, shadow work this, shadow work is hard. Oh, I'm so miserable, shadow work that. I just feel like if you make peace with yourself, then you understand those are just aspects and they're things that need to be processed and dealt with. Be comfortable with that discomfort. And then as you be comfortable with that discomfort, then you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? What happens
Mhm.
when you step outside your comfort zone? It expands. And where does
Ooh,
growth live?
yeah, in that
Outside your
expansion.
comfort zone, right?
Cool.
Without a doubt. So, anyway,
This
well, that is our time already for today.
this is really, really interesting stuff. I'm
Yeah,
just
I mean,
really
it's
excited about this conversation.
Yeah, it goes fast, but um, I like it that way. It just seems like our listeners like it a little better when we don't drone on too long. I don't know. That
Right.
could be the way I perceive it, but anyway, so that's my thoughts for today. I think you brought up some really good points. I hope listeners that you figure out a way to at least spend a little bit of time on your own and see what it
Mhm.
feels like.
Practice.
Let us
Yeah.
know. Come back to the comments and let us know how you're doing because we'd love to hear about it. Meanwhile, if you've listened this far, thank you very much. And if you have and you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button if you don't mind, because we'd like it.
Mhm.
So, anyway,
Because we
thank
do
you
mind.
very much. And here's your high five for
High
today.
five for today.
Have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week.